if they could shut him down, then Rrq Akira might not be able to move around the map as safely as possible. And if he's down, then the Turtle as well as the Lord, it's not going to be a 50-50. It's going to be an 80-20.
If you watch Rrq Akira games more, it's less that he gets targeted, more that he's willing to trade. Again, that Joy jungle, that's his trademark. He's so willing to dive into the back, and again, he has a retribution, not a vengeance. He's more likely to go down.
Hey, but it might not work so well against the Valley because Valley like to play those tanky frontline jungles, right?
Exactly.
I mean, if you have some just Joy going to the backline, it's not going to be that much damage.
All right, we can only argue for so long. For now, let's get the action going. Let's throw it over to our desk. Let's go.
Thank you so much for the analysis, boys on the stand. Welcome to the caster desk here for the Valley versus Rrq Akira. The North versus the South. You're going to be accompanied by me, Mirkel, Jays, and Wolf on the caster desk here. But before we get to the talks about the two teams, M4 is powered to you by Moonton. Presented by TikTok, the official content partner. Supported by Secret Lab, the official gaming chair. And Esport Charts, our analytical partner. Gank, our official merchandise partner, MeWatch, our media partner, and last but not least, the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia. But boys, how are we feeling here today for the first match of the day? That's kind of big here. Rrq Akira versus the Valley.
Yeah, it's definitely big. Something that is also quite big that's happening right now in the game is the M4 Pass, which is also available right now. Complete all the active tasks and you'll reach level 75 at East, sorry. 75,
74
not
too.
74. You can get 74, but you'll be one level away. And of course, you can do everything absolutely for free. Log in now. Exclusive rewards like the Beatrix, like Chaser Beatrix, Stellar Brilliance, and M4 Beatrix figurine are just waiting for you. Hashtag Mobile Legends Bang Bang, hashtag MLBBM4, hashtag Dare to be Great.
And we are daring to be great here on the stage. So one of these two teams that are coming up on the stage again, a lot of people wrote them off. Rrq Akira and the Valley coming in from, less developed regions, no MPL in NA just yet, but the Valley have been proving themselves in the knockout stages.
There was one thing that both of these teams have in common is that they went to Jakarta very earlier on.
Yeah.
I heard that, at least for Rrq Akira, they went before December, and that's also true with the Valley. They understand that they're the strongest in the region, but they have to go through a rigorous training in one of the most competitive areas in the world.
They have to keep on improving, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for us to deep dive into the starting lineup for both of the teams. Obviously, starting with the Valley, dude. Right here, this is the lineup. Wolf, tell me about this lineup.
Hoon, Fried Chicken, Basic, Mobazane, and Super Shark. The group stages, that is a thing of the past. We have to forget it if you're looking at the Valley. Because what they did in the knockout stages through the lower bracket is completely different from what they did in the group stages. Going to be going up against Saigen, Takashi, Gusta Lagusta, King, and Luis. Very impressive in the group stages. Unfortunately, had to face a very difficult task at the upper bracket.
I think another thing that we also have to look at is, I know you want to say that let's forget about the group stages, but that could be an interesting sample size. And I also like the fact about these two teams, they need to acclimate to basically the meta in Indonesia, and that's what we're talking about from the start of the day, right? The Jakartan hospitality. These boys, they've enjoyed it, they thrive in this server, and they are finally here right now to do everything and put whatever they learned to the test.
In the lower brackets, no room for mistakes. All the way from Brazil, the champions trying to claim their first ever world title. Welcome!
Like Hoon, he has been around the esports world for quite a long time. In fact, he was part of the M1 World Championship in Malaysia 4 years ago. And you also have like Basic, who has been playing in between like North America and the Philippines, right now returning to represent North America in the world stage once again.
I think regardless both these two teams, I think they are sending a statement to all across the world right now is that MLBB is surviving and they are thriving in the West. And, you know, any of these two teams that will go proceed on to the knockout stage or throughout the bracket, one of these two teams, unfortunately, because of the state of the game, state of the match right now, one of these two teams will go home. But I think it's an achievement to be on the stage.
It's massive, right? I mean, we've seen that these teams have all been progressing and improving so much. We saw Incendio Supremacy with their stellar performance up against Falcon yesterday. Now we're seeing two teams that have, you know, for the Valley, improved so much in the knockout stage. For Rrq Akira, they had a very impressive group stage.
That's right.
And just on that point, we are going to take a look at both of the teams head-to-head right here.
Hey, it's very surprising. There's not a lot of Lord control coming out from Rrq Akira, but when it comes to like turtle control, it's almost the same. And we can actually see that through their games. They really like to prioritize the early stages of the game. They want to group up together. For the Valley, it's all more about like activating Basic by utilizing Hoon and Mobazin in the early stages. For Rrq Brazil, it's more of a collaborative effort. They want to make sure that Gusta Lagusta is having a great time, then eventually they will take over in the latter portions of the game.
Guys, just take a look at the KDA ratio. It's almost like a double KDA ratio in the favor of the Valley. Super blood hungry, super bloodthirsty, especially when the main goal is IQ heroes, IQ enemies. I convert that into objectives.
Well, you know, I do believe that Rrq Akira, in terms of just the turtle control and that KDA ratio, right, you do see a little bit of a spike there. But for the Valley, a bit more, you know, well-rounded coming in here. And we are going to see also the most picked and banned heroes from both of the teams. But here, we're going to take a look at the Valley first. With the all-time win rate of 71%, these are their most picked heroes.
You see that Joy is... Joy, although they picked it up back-to-back when they went up against... during their first game in the knockout stages. However, their standard picks will be this one. You can see, even just looking at literally this set of heroes, it's almost a composition already. It's almost a draft. Yeah. Like you go for Lolita, you have Eve, you have Fredrin in the jungle, then you have the carry. It's almost a draft now for the side of the Valley.
Looking at, well, the side of Rrq Akira, right? If you notice, it is most picked Joy at number 3, and I feel like in this particular series, I expect Joy to be banned most of the time because both these two teams, you bet, rest assured, White Chicken will be able to use the Joy to a great success. Rest assured, King will be able to use that Joy to great success as well. However, Wolf, you mentioned about this. Looking at the most picks coming out from the Valley, it feels like a little bit one-dimensional, and I think that's a bit of a scary issue that the Valley has to address.
Yeah, because they're always like facing almost like elimination, right? So what they needed to do was to always go for comfort. And for them to win this, their keys to victory will be to take the fight in the gold lane, focus on lockdown, and lock down Sega's comfort heroes, always keep the tempo and convert it to objectives as we've seen through the graph, and stay crispy and spicy. White Chicken against Takashi.
You know, as a fried chicken in Indonesia, you need to adapt, right? So it's the spice. Yes, the ayam goreng, now that you need to add spice in, right?
All right.
And that's what fried chicken has been bringing to the table. A whole lot of spice, a whole lot of aggression. But speaking of aggression, this is also the keys to victory for the enemy team, Rrq Akira. Respect and contain Basic in this North-South American Derby. Now, Basic in the group stage, we can all agree that, you know, maybe he was underperforming, but here in the knockout stage, with the amount of resources that has been allocated towards that gold lane, Basic has proved to be a very, very capable carry. Here as well, King must watch or must match Mobazane in that jungle. That's one of the things that's really, really important here coming into this matchup. Prepare for Team Valley's counter draft as well. Prioritize CC, because that's how the Valley have been getting a lot of these dubs.
There was also a part where you have to contest the carry, which I definitely agree with. I'm surprised that from the Philippines, there's only like 11% who voted for the Valley. It's like 89% for Rrq Akira. Maybe because a lot of people are already watching a lot of the Emerald series, and we know that Rrq Brazil has been at least some players of RQ Brazil has been there for a long time. Maybe we attribute it to the experience that some of the players and components of RQ has. But then again, RQ Akira's performance, they're not too shabby. In fact, I think most of the votes are to RQ Akira side.
What's insane is even, it's just crazy the fact that almost every single region opted to go for Rrq Akira, knowing again the Valley did lose to Akira in the group stage. They're definitely looking for that revenge, but stylistically, what do you think about this matchup, right? Because the Valley have struggled up against very aggressive teams that can take the game to you and can force that snowball going from the get-go.
I personally feel like it's like what Will was talking about, right? We talk about, how the most picks are basically the comfort heroes. We also talk about the fact that, it is the Valley that lost to Rrq Akira in the group stages, but I feel like going into the knockout stage, something changed in the Valley, and they will need to bring it out on this stage.
Well, we're going to jump into the draft just in 3 seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen watching here in the arena, it's time for game number 1. Let's dive into the drafts for the Valley versus Rrq Akira. Rrq on the blue side with the first pick. The Valley on the red side. 1-1 Kaja, Glue, Lolita, and the Barats all banned away. You can see some respect here being given away from Rrq Akira already with the Barats and the Lolita that were 2 key factors in their victory.
Do they pick up the Eve this time, or do they pick up the carry?
No,
It's the joy. Absolutely.
I like the fact that both these two teams, they literally open up, right? So you're going to pick. It's basically like that strategy in the pick as well. Yeah. You open up 3 prior picks, and then you have to pick one of these 3. This is more advantageous for teams from the second pick, but look at the rapid drafting coming up from both of these two teams.
Oh my goodness. And then might even look at picking up the Fredrin, maybe snatch it away. But instead, it's going to be the Claude. Tekashi, he said that they're very confident to play against the Valley, but it will be a hard match. They're with another strategy for them, so it will be hard, but we are confident, says Tekashi. We call him the Miracle Boy in the Tagalog tree.
Ooh, why? Why the Miracle Boy?
Well, let's just say that he looks like he's a player who plays internationally.
Oh, I see.
Yes, the Mr. International face.
Mr. International himself, Tekashi. But on the other side, you also have Mr. International in Mobazane, right? This man, again, bringing BTK back at M3 to top 3. This time around, he's opted to go for more of a utility jungler route, and I think this is a great pick for them, right? I think the main source, or the main things that have been criticized for Valley has been in the draft, not utilizing a lot of those flex picks, but since getting dropped down to the knockout stages in the lower brackets, they have improved on this case very much so. Flex pick on the Grok and 2 prio heroes that are just extraordinary, but the main concern now is still that Joy. No one can lock her down.
And now even more counter crowd control heroes are going to be knocked out by Rrq Akira. Comforts of Mobazane. Banning out both Barrett and Fredrin means that Mobazane will have to bring out something out of the bag, because this is so far what they have been using for the longest time now. So are they even concerned to take out what? Maybe Akai?
Yeah.
Perhaps?
I think Akai, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the drafts right now, Barat, Fredrin, you're leaning into just stopping Mobazane in that jungle, right? We haven't really seen Mobazane play a whole lot of heroes here. He's only just on the utility. And these are the heroes we usually see. Maybe he can still go for something like a Martis. That can... No, it's not going to be banned out, but Martis, Akai, those 2 heroes, good utility. Rrq Akira with the Tamas ban, respecting obviously towards Fight Chicken. In the group stage, that's how they beat S11. But it is going to be the Kufra pick. So I like it because the Grok is still technically a flex pick here. We haven't seen Mobazane on the jungle Grok. But it's possible.
It's possible, very much possible.
It's kind of crazy the fact that, the Valley just selected the Kufra and then immediately we're thinking, oh, Fight Chicken could be the Grok EXP. To hold on a second, there's also the possibility of that Grok jungle. Another thing I like about this Kufra is that you also have a Joy that's bouncing around. Yes, she goes into this immunity thing, but I think this is something they could plan to see whether they could do something like, you need to try to stun this Joy immediately, because I feel like You just need to make sure that she doesn't hit her combos. You just need to slow her down. But it's going to be something that the Valley needs to ask that question. How are they going to stop the Joy?
I was really about to say Matilda should be the pick for Rrq Akira. It could be the way to get into the backlines. It's also a great supplement for the Pharsa if you want to go with burst down a hero. Even when the Eve pops the real world manipulation, you have enough damage coming out from both Matilda and the Pharsa, especially in the early stages. I'm thinking, how about a Liam for the side of the Valley? If they're not concerned about like being a type for Mobile Zane, at least you have that hero that can match up with the Martis. Karina. This is not a conventional pick nowadays.
Yeah,
but it is a Mobile Zane-ish kind of hero.
It is a Mobile Zane hero. You know, since the Karina got revamped, this is the hero that he has found a lot of comfort on. But again, with this hero being picked up, I think very little amount of times here at M4. I think the only time I ever saw it was in the group stage, in the knockout stage, the first time that we are going to be seeing a Karina. So this is the big question for us now. For NA as well. Will the Valley be able to prevail with this Karina pick? That is somewhat off meta, right? But with that being said, again, both of the drafts have been set. That Martis is going to be able to cancel out a whole lot of the lockdown CC that the Valley have drafted for themselves. This has been their main keys to success. But we'll see as we enter the land of Dawn for game number 1. Who will secure game number 1?
There it is already. Minion blocking coming out from the Rrq just to contain the minions so that they will have an advantage in the laning stage. And this is one way to really play the Rrq in the X lane, which really makes it a very strong hero in the side lanes.
I think the biggest question I would like to ask is, what is Mobile Zane going to build towards you? Is this going to be a tank Karina, or is this going to be a magic assassin Karina? But looking at the emblem, I don't think it really tells a lot. Usually you go for the Demon Slayer emblem as well for, well, the tank Karina. But it feels like Mobile Zane right here, there's a lot of tankiness already built in their roster. I feel like they need to try to solve the question of taking down Gusta Lagusta, taking down Sagan, and then roll Snowball.
Between the heroes of Rrq Brazil, like you have the Claude as well as the Matilda, and even the Martis at some regard. There's a lot of like uncontrollable damage. Like the Blazing Duet, for sure, you have the choice to turn it on or off. But whenever you put it up, you know that it's going in. That's where the Karina actually flourishes against those kind of heroes. You just reflect back the damage, and this is definitely a Mobile Zane kind of play style that we can see.
What you're seeing is also just the Valley playing with their comfort, right? You're mentioning that Mobile Zane can go for just damage here, but honestly, looking at their game so far, they've just been going for a lot of 3 frontliners, 3 tanks, and relying on the mid laner and the gold lane to really carry their games when it does get to that later stage. Here, you can already see a little bit of a proactive movement by Super Shark in the mid lane, trying to go for that pick, but it's not really going to happen. Rrq Akira, they're really good at playing for this early game skirmish too, and they can read that out, right? Now it comes down to the turtle. King on the Martis versus Zane on the Karina.
It's going to be dependent on whether or not they will have the ultimate on Super Shark. So what they're doing right now is putting Super Shark in the middle as a roamer so that he'll get to level 4 as he is right now.
Takashi putting some effort at the back line. It's going to be Mobile Zane chicken a little bit low. It's going to Super Shark. Minding King. It's a jump in the turtle pit. It's going to be first blood awarded over the side to the Valley. The turtle resets. Takashi unable to buy time for his jungler to take down the turtle.
It's a good first blood, right? They really assess the situation perfectly there. They notice that Rrq Akira, they're going in a bit too soon without the help of Sagan and Louise, especially King. They utilize, well, not King, Takashi on that Vengeance. They utilize that resource differential and they capitalize on the fact taking him down.
They wouldn't have a lot of ultimates to work with now. But then again, both junglers are just busy taking their own purple buffs, and it will be a double buff for Mobile Zane, single buff for King. But King will be faster on the turtle because of this.
But Hoon right now doesn't have the real world manipulation. Red airstrike will be going in at the same time. King focusing on the turtle right now. The red airstrike zoning the members of the Valley out. Hoon responds with the real world manipulation. Lewis will be given away over to the side of the Valley.
Objective versus kill. That's what's happening right now. Valley leading with 2 kills, and you know, Wolf, I saw this before. Last time a team prioritized kills, they won. It was Falcon.
A lot of damage.
It was. But then again, this time, you saw Rrq Brazil taking advantage of the fact that Mobile Zane took his time. in a way, there's a lot of greed in what Mobazane did because he went for 2 buffs first, while King, after dying, he went only to the orange buff and allowed his Matilda and Farsa to zone out the members of the Valley. We talked about this in the draft. There's a lot of combination with the Matilda and the Farsa. There's lethal poke that you can get out of there, and the Valley respected that. That is why they weren't able to position themselves around the turtle.
Oh, look at the stat line, though.
Demolition Man.
Gusta, the great Demolition Man. Ranked first in hero damage, first in turret damage, and first in turret damage per minute. So there's turret damage per game and per minute. This guy's an absolute monster. I think he just absolutely hates the turrets right now.
Yeah.
And you can see, right, they're already trying to look for a siege and maybe possibly look for a dive up in the gold lane.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on the top side by Rrq Akira. Is going to be limiting basic just a little bit, but there will be a lull just in the moment as Mobazane goes in, takes items that he's, takes buff that he should not own. As let's take a look at the emblem.
Okay, so definitely going to be that tank ability for Mobazane. I think this is just the way to go. Like we said, there's a lot of like uncontrollable damage coming up from Rrq Brazil that they can take care of. I'm actually surprised that Fried Chicken is holding his ground so well, but up top, the punish coming out from the Valley.
Punish from up there. Rrq Brazil, I think, overstayed the welcome. They're focusing too much resources around basic, but you can start to see the damage coming off in Takashi, right? Look, Fried Chicken is a grok. It's just, it's just armor. It's not magic resist, and Takashi is there dealing magic damage against that grok.
There's, again, for the Valley, a lot of pick potential they can play for, right? And Rrq Akira, they're saying, sure, you can pick up a kills on Louise as many times as you want, but this is what they're going to do back.
Yeah, at the same time, backline, Takashi is actually keeping Mobazane a little bit too busy right here. Real one relation committed by Hoon will be dropping down the bombs from the side by Super Shock. That's the jump, the bounce, but will not be able to convert it into an ultimate. It's going to be Sagan. That will fall. Mobazane finds assassination.
1,000 gold lead now for the Valley, and so far this prioritized kills over objectives is working for the Valley really well. Rrq Akira are falling behind, and with that, you can already see the siege potential from Team Valley.
The Super Shark is just way too good at setup heroes. Yeah, 2-0-2 from the guy. Amazing jumps, and even you saw some patience from him. He did, even when he already has like the dream combo of the Grok and the Kufra, where there is the Guardian's Barrier, you can just pin them to the wall. He waited for his right moment. He knows that there will be no follow-up because his teammates are on the opposite side of the wall. So he waited for his timing to go for the lockdown. Fried Chicken, again, holding his ground. I wonder how he's able to do it. Yep. It's not easy.
Yeah, there you go. It's going to be Matilda using the ultimate on top of Mobazane. The Void Crystals from Hoon will slow down that push. The Valley currently on 5-0 in terms of the kill score, but Rrq Akira has the better map control in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, right? The map control that they've been able to get with the XP lead in a few of these lanes because of the turtle. And even here, you can see the deaths, right? You look at the score and you think it's horrible for Rrq Akira, but most of these deaths have been placed onto the roamer.
Oh, Feather Ezra coming in. Lewis is actually pincering. Look at how Augusta, the Demolition Man going to business. He's taking down the top side. That's the first turret in the favor of Rrq Akira.
Again, the people or the members from Rrq Akira that have been taken down are mostly just the frontliners, King and Louise. Sure, there are a few deaths here from Takashi and Sagan, but that's despite the point. They can actually utilize this 500 or 1,000 gold lead from the Valley, and they could just use it to farm constantly, right? Creating space for themselves on the map to get those power spikes on the Farsa and the Claws.
Yeah, Boy Chicken using the wall charge, get out of the way. The real one manipulation on top of Hoon. It's going to be Sagan will be able to fly away with the wings by wings. No kills for the Valley for now, but you know they are hungry.
Yeah. All of the space that is created by Team Valley. 4 of their members always fighting against Rrq Brazil. Allows for basic!
Oh, he catches Louise right at the back line, giving the kill over to basic. To Valley immediately transition into a turtle takedown. That's the third turtle in the pockets of the Valley.
Rrq Akira need to be very careful the way they're playing, right? Sure, it's still just Louise who's getting caught, not Gusta, not Sagan, but the more the roamer gets taken down, that's more or less map control you have, and Super Shark's going for it.
Super Shark's going in once again. The rare strike going down to basically zone out, but that will not be enough. The Valley will be able to take down the top side as well. Mobazane going on 1v1 against King, but it's going to be a tanky Karina going up against a tanky Martis.
I love to see it, right? 2 tanks just beating each other up.
Yeah,
doesn't care about the minions. Hey, you and me in the middle right now.
Do that in no chat.
Okay. It will be difficult now to deal with the Valley already. You can see Super Shark picking up the Radiant Armor. Majority of the early game damage of Rrq Akira is based on magic. That's Joy, that's Farsa, that's Matilda, all nullified with this item. And then, if you're looking at basic, already picking up the Wind of Nature, it means that even the physical damage department, that's gonna struggle against Team Valley. I'm not seeing any damage output now, any DPS now coming out from Rrq Akira, so they just need to farm up. Maybe wait for their timings, but the Valley, they're not letting that happen.
Oh, Super Shark jumps in, pins Takashi right into the wall. That's Basic picking up that kill for now. Hoon coming in, Mobazin coming in for the flank. King will not be able to survive. Karina finds assassination with the help of Hoon's Rip Wall manipulation.
An amazing gank by the Valley, knowing exactly what Rrq Akira were doing. They placed most of their members up in that top lane. So the Valley just utilized that, capitalized, and just dove them down. No hesitation whatsoever. The Valley with crisp, clean communication, and they're going to be able to punish a bit more.
Look at that. Because of the winning team fight at the bottom lane, Basic translates that into 2 turret takedown. Rrq Akira needs to solve this big problem. Where is their damage coming from?
They will have to wait for both the Farsa and the Claude to have items before they are able to output the damage. At this point, the Valley is just way too bulky and just so farmed with 3.7 thousand gold of an advantage. Rrq Akira will have to wait for their moments. Will the Valley not let that happen?
Looking at it here, it's going to be really tough for Rrq Akira to really contest right now with a 3.6k gold deficit. But it all depends on Gusta and Sagan.
Bouncing ball going to be activated at the same time. It's the Valley actually gaining a lot of map control around the Lord Pit. Feather Airstrike not at the Lord Pit area. Will not be able to contest with that. Jingle going in. The wall charge connect. No, Gusta the base into it. Going all the way in. Shredding the Jingle going all the way down. Team Valley is still going in. But it is going to be Rrq Akira picking up the items. And this is the time the damage round coming from. One side. He's going to chomp down, but that's not enough. It's Hoon will be there to take down the damage dealer from Rrq Akira.
It's a 2-for-1, make it a 3-for-1 because the Valley secured the Lord. And just on that note, they're really good at taking these crazy skirmishes. Rrq Akira, you can finally see the damage come through, and that's because of the itemization. But again, the Valley were so much ahead already.
Yeah, you can see that even with just White Chickens zoning them out, blocking them out, committing the ultimate and sacrificing himself just to make sure that the members of Rrq Brazil will not be able to come through. The peeling from the Valley is just way too good. Even utilizing the real-world manipulation just to not let King get into position. The Valley is just way too ahead.
I feel like the Valley is like, who needs macro game when I'm so good at team fights? 8 kill lead right there in the Valley, and those kills transitions into gold. It transitions into map control. Rrq Akira needs to play it safe. They don't have the damage, and you know the Valley is itching for a fight.
Hey, and it is all going to come down to Super Shark, who's already charging it in. This man has been so aggressive, and he's been the one initiating all these crazy plays, right? If you don't have Super Shark, they wouldn't have this lead.
The Jar jumping in, real one man to go in, Super Shark all the way in the enemy base, and he's creating so much space for the time being. The Valley is actually focusing on the Lord in the bottom lane instead, and that is the prize. A Fight Chicken will sacrifice his life for the bottom lane turret.
What a fight! The Valley, again, they lose one member, but it's all good. It's a frontliner. It's just White Chicken. They get a base turret with the first Lord, and that's so much value.
That's so much value indeed. Because normally in a game where you have your all of your economies all together, whoever gets the first Lord doesn't really get any any inhibitor turret, and them getting that is such a high value sacrifice coming out from White Chicken. And I like the way that they're layering all their stuns, right? The Fried Chicken goes in, and then Super Shark comes afterwards. So it's like a combination of whether you go first with the Rrq or the Kufra.
Well, you know, I have another question here. Looking at the itemization. Oh, never mind. Oh, so close there. Super Shark going to be poked down for a bit. They're looking for just a steal here. Actually, wow, good steal by Zayn. But back to my question. The Valley and Rrq Akira. It seems like Gusta Lagusta is going to be the main man when it comes to the later stage of the game. From Skylar, from Oheb, yesterday in the match, we saw that the Corrosion side was an option. Do you think that Gusta needs to go for the Corrosion side here to be that late game carry?
I think so. I think you badly need that. Because of the updates on the corrosion side, it just makes so much value for attacks with base
play.
heroes.
I don't know whether this is the real one. Believe she's going in as well, but it would not be. It is going to be the mid lane for the side of Rrq Akira, cracked open for now. The fact that Super Shark is just literally charging up created so much invisible pressure against Rrq Akira.
Oh man, they're making it easy for basic. Like the Valley, they're just peeling for basic. Then you cannot see any initiation coming out from Rrq Akira that can go to the backlines unless they do it now. King with a flank.
That's a good flank coming up on Gustavo. Would that be enough? No, Momose will be able to just bouncing a BMI. Well, no, Gustavo will be destroyed by Basic, and he is on the hunt. It is going to be King that says Basic, no, you're not going to be able to do anything for now because I'm going to take you down. But Super Shot on the other hand, it is going to be him creating so much space. Wipe out!
Wipe out the Valley again! Dudes, they're gonna end the game right now with a crazy dominant game in game number 1 to secure it first here. White Chicken just adding a little bit to that spice that we said that you need in Indonesia.
It's like, I'm totally imagine the Valley is like throwing the fried chicken drumstick at the enemy. And it actually hurts.
I am Goreng with a lot of sambal in there as he went in. Even Hoon picked up what? 2 golden staves. There's a plural for that. Golden staff. Two pieces of golden staff, right? Just to finish up the game so they can attack quickly. But then again, you see that the Valley, whenever they initiate together with Super Shark as well as Fried Chicken, it's very smart in how they are doing it, how they are approaching it. It's like sometimes it's going to be the crew to start, then the addition onto the Grab Ultimate. Sometimes they swap it. And all the while, they were making it so easy for the basic to for basic to farm.